Okay, so we are ready to get started. So the first step that you need to do is you need to take the Invisible Shield spray I mentioned earlier. I'll get it on camera there. And you want to take it and just kind of wet your fingers with it. And the reason that you want to do that is to make sure that it doesn't actually, the cover doesn't actually stick to your fingers. So that'll help that. And then the next step is to take the backing, the cover, and take one of the sheets that it comes on and just peel it off of there. I'm going to start with the back first and see how that goes. It's a little bit sticky, and there's, at least for this phone, there's some kind of cutouts, the wedges, like this part right here is for the camera on the phone. So you want to be careful when you're pulling that off that it doesn't stick to there and that it doesn't tear and things like that. So the next thing that you want to do is you take the shield and you take your spray, move that out of there, and you just kind of move the phone as well. You take the spray and kind of spray it onto the cover. So you want to spray it onto the back and to the front of it, and that's going to let you make a tight seal on your device. And you want to try to touch it as little as possible. Obviously you're going to have to touch it some in order to get it on there, but less is better. So the next step is to just go ahead and put the cover onto your phone. And it's not going to be perfect, obviously, especially with these types of phones that have a lot of weird wedges and corners and things like that. So you want to just kind of move it around in place. Which I will do. And then this one is obviously really picky because of the weird triangle wedge that's on the fuse here. But we'll try to get it lined up as best as we can. And the shield actually does fit perfectly. I mean, you can tell that it was made for the phone. It's probably not going to show up on the camera, but there's even the little wedge right there for the external speaker that's cut out. So they did a good job on making sure everything lines up very well. So I think we got the wedge part there, and we'll kind of try to slide this over here. Make sure everything's lined up over there. Kind of wrap that around the side. And I'm actually really surprised how well this lines up, because a lot of the places you go to online to buy these covers say, you know, fits all, universal type of thing, and you come to find out that it doesn't fit it at all. But no, it really does. It was made to fit onto the fuse. So props to Zag for doing a good job there. Okay, and then I think that's pretty much in place. And then once it's where you need it to go, you're going to take your squeegee, a little rubber fellow that came with that, and you just want to kind of smooth things out. Get them kind of slid around. And we'll work it over there. And you're just trying to get all the moisture out from underneath there. And it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's going to be pretty close. And what's left there is supposed to work itself out over the course of a few days. So if it doesn't work perfectly, that's not a huge problem. You just want to get all that excess moisture out of there, along with all the bubbles. And we'll just kind of work it around the sides and the bottom. Not too much there. Got a little hanger on here at the top. So I'll try to moisturize that down a little bit. Okay, so that is the back portion, and it's covering it up pretty nicely. And I'll work that out a little bit more after the video, but I don't want to dwell on it too long, just because it's kind of a little bit of a lengthy process here. So I will show you one more piece. And when you get the shield, you'll see that it's kind of perforated so that there's parts. It's not one big piece or two big pieces. It's actually a bunch of little pieces that are made to go around all the sides, so they fit over the push to talk button, the volume buttons, and all of the various little nuances that are on the device. So I will start with the actual screen cover part next, which is right here. You can see it kind of popping out already. And if you want, you can just go ahead and pull that off too, if you find that easier. Just make sure you don't tear it. And when you look on here, you can see what I was talking about before. You probably can't see it on the camera, but there's a little perforation right there that's supposed to go over the earpiece on the phone. So you just want to take the corner of it and start separating it. And just pull it off. And that's kind of the tricky part that I was talking about before, the perforations there. You just gotta kind of do your best to pop it off. And once you can get a corner off of it, you kind of pull around it with your finger. And try not to touch the screen too much if possible, because you get little fingerprints on there, but it's not going to be perfect. I got this little thing stuck to my finger now. Okay, so that's off. So again, I'm going to repeat the same process as before. Move the phone. You don't want to spray the phone either, because that gets too much moisture in between the screen and the phone. You just want to make sure you spray the screen. So again, we'll give it a little spray there. And on the other side, we'll give it one more spray. And then you just take that, we'll get it over onto the phone. Get a little dusties off of there first. And just kind of set it in place. You eyeball it as best as you can. See if we can't just pop it right on there. I'm trying to aim for the speaker hole here. Go in the corner direction. There we go. And that kind of came down crooked. So that's kind of nice. If you don't quite get it where you want it to go, it's not like you're married to it. You can always adjust it a little bit. Bear with me here, I'm being really picky with it. Good, I just turned my phone back on. One of my big gripes about the Fuze is that it's too easy to turn the phone on the top button there. I'm going to retry applying this. Yeah. There we go. Turn that display off. Thanks a lot. Okay. And I'm going to wet the front of it again a little bit. And again, you're just kind of working the moisture off the top and from under the bottom, trying to get a good fit there. You probably want to try to avoid the speaker speaker on there. Don't want to get any moisture in there. Alright, that one was a little bit easier to get out. So I am going to go through and I'm going to finish covering up the rest of the phone, and when I'm done I'll conclude the video so you can take a look at what it looks like when it's done.